What kinds of lifestyle modifications have you made since transplant?
Since transplant, I'm a little more careful about where I go, especially in an enclosed environment. To be outside in the fresh air, I'm not as careful as some people are. I don't need to wear a mask generally when I'm outside, but when I'm inside an unfamiliar location, I take a lot of precautions. If you're forced into shaking hands with someone, I immediately use sanitizer on my hands. And if people don't know me, they might wonder, why I did that. But, unfortunately, that's just the way it is today. In church, we pass the peace, which involves the shaking of hands. And so my entire family is in the row of passing the sanitizer down. So we all shake hands, but we all sanitize our hands. So I would say that my lifestyle modifications are small, and they may not be obvious to others, but they're very, very obvious to myself. When I travel, I'm really careful about airports and airplanes. I take wipes with me, and I will wash down my chair, and I wash down the backs of the chairs around me, and I wear a mask, and I'm a little spoiled. My husband tries to fly us first class when he can. That will separate us from the bigger population of people, and it's really about being in a more secluded area of the plane. It's not about flying first class. It's just about being in a smaller group of people. So, but otherwise, I just use the same precautions in foreign countries that I use at home, with my sanitation of my hands, with wiping down things before I sit down, wearing a mask in unfamiliar places. It's just my lifestyle today. When I'm traveling, I do make modifications in my eating. You tend to get meats, beef, pork, chicken that are uncooked or not properly cooked in foreign countries. They don't quite get it about the importance of having food thoroughly cooked. So I generally eat a vegetarian lifestyle when we travel. And I don't normally gain any weight during that time. Weight's a big issue to me, so I'm really careful. But I just choose not to eat the meats or things that I know will make me sick if I eat food that's not properly prepared. For the drinking part of it, I drink bottled water only. Of course, I don't drink any alcohol, but I occasionally will get a soft drink, but I won't pour it over ice. I just wipe off the bottle and drink it out of the bottle or the can.
Lifestyle changes that I've made, basically not many. I don't go out in large groups. And food, I have had to, I've always watched my diet, but I've had to become more consistent with watching my carb intake and doing things like that. And travel, I've been back east twice, and my family's back east. So I've been back east twice, and that's not a problem. I haven't had any problems.
Some of the modifications I've made since my transplant in regards to my lifestyle. For the first couple years, I was really kind of psycho about some stuff. I was always afraid of inhaling dirt and dust or anything. It probably drove my friends crazy and my boyfriend because we're way into rock climbing and mountain biking, and I was just always, I still do wear like a mask or a bandana when I mountain bike because you're getting dust, but very always putting sunscreen on. I never used to wear sunscreen at all, and I know that there's like a 90% greater chance of getting skin cancer now because your immune system's suppressed. So always carrying sunscreen with me, always carrying hand sanitizer with me. I've definitely calmed down a bit on, I go in large groups all the time now. I don't even think twice about it. I just try and sit, if we're going to like a movie or a play or something like that, I just try and sit in the very back, which Mason doesn't like either because he likes to be right up front. But if people are sick, you want to try and stay away from all the germs and things like this. And I try and wear long sleeves when I can. If I'm like opening doors, I'm kind of weird about touching door handles or handles that a lot of people are touching, or I'll, use my pinky to hit the elevator button. So just being more aware of germs and sick people, being more in tune with that. But for me, the biggest thing, it was hard not going and eating sushi anymore and rare steak. So those were the biggest ones.
Since transplant, I've been able to get out and enjoy a very full, busy, wonderful life. I do take a lot of precautions in crowds. I always make sure I wear a mask. I wash my hands constantly. I always have a little bottle of hand sani with me, and I'm very conscientious if there is someone in the area that appears to have a cold or maybe the sniffles. And I've also been able to educate my family and friends to, it doesn't mean I don't love them, it just means that I don't want whatever they have.
I'm much more careful about germs. I have in my purse at all times, whenever my purse is with me, masks to whip out whenever I hear someone sneeze or cough or not cover their mouths when they do something bizarre. I walk a lot more. I walk at least 3 times a week for 2 miles, 2.5 miles actually. I wish I would do more. So that's coming. The drug regimen is different. I was used to taking some drugs for my pulmonary hypertension that were onerous, but for some reason the post-transplant drugs are kind of more difficult to take. Maybe it's because they're preventing something from happening as opposed to working on something that is already wrong. And it's just a psychological thing, and you just have to get over it and swallow the pills. What else is different? I can fly, so although I can fly, and that's a huge joy, I also take precautions with being so close to so many people. So a mask on the plane, wiping down the seats, wiping down, kind of everything. I've also taken the bus, but I'm not as diligent about wiping down things. I just wear my mask.
Since transplant, I've tried to make a point of enjoying life better. There are restrictions. You have to watch what you eat sometimes. Being in crowds, you have to be very careful. I always carry a particle mask, or to protect myself. But just the ability to move around and enjoy people and activities has made it all more than just. It makes it so much easier than it was before the transplant.
I think there have been 2 big lifestyle changes we made after transplant. One, we used to travel quite a bit, and we would do it relatively spontaneously, even with my condition before, and that's just not something you can do with transplant. You have to know what resources are going to be available to where you're going. You have to have your meds. You have to plan around those medications, where you could get some if they get lost. So you have to be much more prepared and organized in it, as well as some of the choices of where you may go may not be someplace you would go if those support things are available. And then the other is that I think I've just not taken life nearly as seriously as I did before, in that I think you try to seek out enjoyment much more than you're just seeking out things to do or working through life, and you appreciate it much more than you did before.